Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The feature race at Century Mile on Sunday is the Grade 3 Canadian Derby. We are going 1.25 miles for 3-year-olds, and you can play this race with a DRF Bets account. Sign up, get a $100 deposit match with DRF Bets just by going to drf.com/bet. This is a fantastic betting race. As we take a look at the field, it is a full field of competitive runners, and I just want to take it in post position order. The number 1, Call It a Wrap, is so consistent. 7 of 8 in the exacta. This is a restricted stakes winner around 2 turns sprinting at Hastings as a 2-year-old. He's gotten slightly better this year at 3, but I think he's really going to have to pick it up a bit at 30-1 on the morning line in the Derby.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get the right trip in this race, and maybe that'll enhance his chances. That race 2 back in the mud, they went a pretty fast pace in that race in front of him. He just couldn't really get into it, but I thought he ran pretty well. He bobbled at the start last time and got wired. I guess my biggest problem with him, Dan, is that I just feel like in his last 2 races, he hasn't finished in those races like a horse who really wants more ground. I wonder if the 1.25 miles really suits this horse.
Both of the number 2 Parking Permit's lifetime victories have come on turf, and while he's run some decent races on the main track, his recent form just doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. I get the feeling the connections are just taking a shot in here.
Yeah, I didn't love his last 2 races. They were both in the mud. Maybe he'll be better on a fast track, but so far he's been best on turf.
A trend recently in some of these derbies in Western Canada is for horsemen to go to the States, claim some well-bred horses that they feel can get distance, take them up here and make money. Kazaringa was claimed from Calumet Farm for $50,000. He is a very well-bred horse, being by Candy Ride out of the mare Teammate, and he ran okay last time out in an allowance race at Indiana Grand. Distance shouldn't be an issue for this one.
I think he will get the distance. It's interesting that they claimed him and have, sort of pointed for this race. I don't know, Dan, when I watch his last race, I know that he was down on the rail in the stretch, and maybe that's not where you wanted to be, but I didn't really see his excuse to not get it done last time.
The 4 Ranger Up sold for $575,000 as a yearling, and let's be honest, a bit of a disappointment for Todd Pletcher down in New York. I don't know how he didn't win that race at Monmouth 2 starts back at 3-5. Last time he got a good trip up close to the pace, and he didn't finish. But this is a horse that has buyer speed figures that indicate that he can run with these horses. I'm curious to see where Timeform US has him on the pace projector. He's up close, and I think if Ranger Up is up close to the pace, maybe he can get a piece, but he's still a maiden.
Yeah, still a maiden. I guess he does fit on figures, and he does have some speed. There are ways to look at him and think he's a contender, especially if he's going to be some kind of big price. We'll see how that all plays out. I don't love his overall form. I don't want to bet him if he starts taking money in here, but at a big price, I won't argue with him.
The trainer that started the trend of claiming horses, bringing them up to Western Canada, and having success is back again. It's Robertino Diodoro, and he's got the 5 Milton Town, who he took for $50,000 from Dallas Stewart 2 starts back. They ran him in the Iowa Derby. It was a race that didn't have a lot of pace. He made a wide bid on the far turn into contention, and then he flattened out badly. Something tells me that was just a prep.
Yeah, I looked at it the same way. I feel like they probably got what they wanted out of that race, and this is probably the one they were pointing for, and I never take Diodoro horses lightly.
One of the main local hopes in this race is the number 6, and that is Explode. He's won his last 3 starts, 5 out of his last 6, never off the board from 9 lifetime starts, has good tactical speed, and boy, he was very visually impressive last time out. Maybe he moved up a little bit on that muddy track, but going 1.125 miles, he was 5 wide on the first turn, 4 wide on the back stretch and into the second turn, and he still wore him down late. I think he'll run all day.
Yeah, I felt the same way about him. I'm not that worried about the distance. I really like his recent form. I think he can get the right trip in this race. There's just a lot to like about this horse, I think.
Another horse with a beautiful pedigree. Coming up north from the States is the number 7 Journeyman. This is a Godolphin homebred by Animal Kingdom out of a very classy mare. He's won his last 2 races for trainer Owen Hardy, but one of those races was on synthetic. The other one was on turf. He's got to prove he's a dirt horse.
Yeah, he does, and his pedigree suggests that he's not a dirt horse. It suggests that he's a turf and synthetic horse, but maybe he'll transfer. They went long with him on dirt in his second career start. He did not run poorly that day, so maybe he'll handle it.
The horse that's going to take all the action in this race is the number 8 Final Jeopardy, who previously raced for the maximum security connections of Gary and Mary West and Jason Service. This horse I thought ran just fine, went second in the Dwyer. It was an odd race in that there was no pace, and he broke very, very well, and I was a bit surprised that Irad Ortiz ceded the lead. He was traveling really sweetly in the stretch, and it took a very good horse in Code of Honor to run him down. Let's be honest. If he runs that 92 Beyer speed figure, he's going to win. And he has good tactical speed. But I'm not sure about him at 1.25 miles, and I don't know if I want to take a short price on that proposition.
That's the real drawback with him, is just how far does he want to go. I don't think anybody would argue too hard that he's just the most talented horse in the race. When I watch him run, I do feel like shorter is probably better for him, but he ran well at 1 1/8 miles, two-back. I liked his Dwyer just fine. He's the horse to beat in here.
Equivocable has a win at Century Mile, which is a plus in his favor, but he was just well beaten last time out when stretched out to 1 mile. Now they're stretching him out again. He looks in tough.
Yeah, he's a big price in here, and he looks too slow.
Senor Friday won a race at Assinibois last time out. He was 2-5. He got a 58 Beyer speed figure. He's got to do better, but they've managed him very, very well, and this is a Diodoro trainee.
Yeah, they've managed him very well. He's got 5 wins to his credit already. He won a stakes race last time. He's going to be a big price in this race. He's just a little slow.
Flat Out Winner was claimed for $75,000 at Churchill Downs 2 starts back, and I wonder if the connections were a little bit disappointed with that race behind Explode last time out. I would take a much more favorable view in saying maybe he just doesn't like a muddy track, and if he runs back to that 76 Beyer from 2 back, it puts him in the exotics mix.
Yeah, his last 2 races over fast dirt are much better figures, and actually figures that put him on the fringes of contention in this race. I'd give this horse the benefit of the doubt.
Timeform believes Sharp Dressed Beau can make the front. He's going to have to work to do it, breaking from the outside post 12. This is a horse that's a stakes winner over this surface. Last time out was no match for Explode over that muddy track. He had a little bit of a win streak snapped that day. I wonder if we've seen Sharp Dressed Beau's best. He's already run 10 times, but if they let him get away to an easy lead, maybe he can make them pay.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like there's enough pace in here to keep him honest. I actually liked his race 2 back, because that was a pretty fast pace, and he sort of kept close to it and was just much the best that day. I didn't like his race as much last time. It felt like he really struggled at the end of that race, so he's another one. I wonder about how far he wants to go, but he's got some good races.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 3 Canadian Derby at Century Mile. It's race number 10 on Sunday. We both like Explode. We both like how he overcame that significant ground loss last time out over this track. He is already a stakes winner at Hastings. I think you can throw a lot at this horse, and he can handle it, and I think the price will be okay.
Yeah, I thought he'd be an okay price too, mostly because Final Jeopardy in here just feels like he has to be a short price. I went 6, 8, and 7.
I went 6, 8, 4, and 7, and probably use those horses in the Superfecta. It's the Grade 3 Canadian Derby at Century Mile on Sunday. Bet it with your DRF Bets account. You get $100 in deposit match upon sign up at drf.com/bet, and approximate post time for the Grade 3 Canadian Derby, 6:45 Mountain. Good luck.